Captain Yoon-ji Kim stood at the center of the Silent Thunder's bridge, watching the stars through the main viewport. Her ship looked like any other cargo vessel from the outside. Plain, boring, and helpless. That was exactly how she wanted it to look. "Captain, all systems are running at low power, just like a regular merchant ship," Chief Engineer Do Young Park reported from his station. His fingers moved quickly across the control panel, making sure their true capabilities stayed hidden. "Any scanners will only see our fake power readings." Yoon-ji nodded, pleased with the deception. The Silent Thunder was actually a state-of-the-art military vessel disguised as a simple cargo hauler. Its real weapons and power systems were hidden behind clever shielding and false walls. Even the ship's name was meant to fool others, who would think a merchant ship would call itself Silent Thunder. Security Officer Ji Woo-lee walked onto the bridge, carrying his daily report. "The cargo holds are ready, Captain. We've made them look full of regular trading goods." He smiled as he added, "The hidden Marines are in position, and they're getting really good at staying quiet." The bridge crew worked calmly at their stations. To anyone watching, they looked like normal cargo ship workers, but each one was a highly trained military officer. They were currently traveling through an area of space known for pirate attacks. In fact, they were hoping for pirates to attack them. Message from Command. Communications Officer Hae-yun Choi announced from her station. "There have been 3 pirate attacks in nearby sectors this week. They think the pirates will be getting confident." "Perfect," Yoon-ji said. She turned to her tactical officer, Min Seo-kang. "Are our broken defense screens still sending out the right signals?" "Yes, Captain," Min Seo confirmed. "Any pirates scanning us will think our shields barely work. We look like the perfect target." Yoon-ji walked around the bridge, checking on each station. Everything had to look exactly right. Their mission was simple but clever. Instead of hunting pirates across huge areas of space, they would let the pirates come to them. It was much easier to deal with pirates when they gathered in one place to attack what they thought was an easy target. "Captain," Hae-yun called out suddenly. "I'm picking up some interesting chatter on the pirate channels. A group in the next sector is complaining about how hard it is to find good targets these days." "Well then," Yoon-ji said with a small smile, "let's make their day easier. Do Young, adjust our course. Let's wander a little closer to their sector. Make it look like we're trying to save fuel by taking a shortcut." "Course adjusted, Captain," Do Young confirmed. "We're now heading through the Carix Belt. It's a perfect spot for an ambush." Yoon-ji returned to her command chair and looked at the star map. The Carix Belt was a stretch of space filled with mineral-rich asteroids. Pirates loved to hide among the rocks and surprise passing ships. But this time, the surprise would be on them. First Lieutenant Ta Hyun-shin's voice came through on the internal comm system. "Marine squad ready, Captain. The cargo holds are pretty comfortable once you get used to them." The Marines had been living in hidden compartments throughout the ship, ready to defend against boarding parties. "Keep alert, everyone," Yoon-ji announced to her crew. "We're the bait in this trap, but we're also the hunters. Let's give any pirates who find us a lesson about judging things by their appearance." The Silent Thunder continued its journey, looking like easy prey. Its engines made small sounds that suggested poor maintenance. Its hull had patches that seemed to show repairs done with cheap materials. Everything about it screamed defenseless merchant ship. But underneath this careful disguise was one of humanity's most advanced warships. The pirates would soon learn why human ships never listed their weapons on their manifests. They would learn why humans, who evolved on a high-gravity death world called Earth, were considered one of the most dangerous species in the galaxy. And Captain Yoon-ji Kim would make sure it was a lesson they would never forget. The Silent Thunder drifted through the Carix Belt, its engines making sounds that suggested poor maintenance. Captain Yoon-ji Kim watched as tiny dots appeared on her personal screen. They were trying to hide among the asteroids, but the ship's real sensors, hidden from enemy scans, could see them clearly. 5 ships, Captain," Communications Officer Yun Choi reported quietly. They're using old Crixian attack vessels, the kind pirates like because they're easy to repair. She paused, listening to more signals. They're talking to each other. They think we're an easy target. Security officer Ji Woo Lee moved closer to the captain's chair. The Marines are ready. Ta Hyun says they're actually hoping the pirates try to board us. He smiled a little. They've been practicing in high gravity for weeks. The bridge crew watched as the pirate ships slowly moved into position around them. They were using a common pirate tactic, surrounding their target so it couldn't escape. The pirates didn't know that the Silent Thunder's real engines could outrun them easily. Incoming transmission, Hae-yun announced. They're using the standard pirate channel. Put them on screen, Yoonji ordered. Everyone remember, we're just scared merchants. The main screen lit up, showing a large alien with purple scales and too many eyes. It was a Crixian, a species from a low-gravity world. They looked scary, but to humans who grew up in Earth's gravity, they were physically weak. "Attention human vessel," the Crixian captain said in trade speech. "Your ship is now our property. Shut down your engines and prepare to be boarded. If you follow our orders, we might let you live." Yoonji put on her best scared face. "Please," she said, making her voice shake. "We're just carrying farm equipment. We don't want any trouble." The Crixian laughed, showing rows of sharp teeth. "Farm equipment is valuable, and your ship looks like it needs a new owner." The alien leaned closer to its camera. "You have 5 minutes to shut down your engines. Don't try to run. Your ship is too slow to escape us." The screen went dark. Min Seo Kang, the tactical officer, looked up from his station. "They're moving closer, Captain. Their weapons are powered up, but they're old models. Nothing our real shields can't handle." "Do Young," Yoonji called to her chief engineer, "make our engines sound like they're failing. Let's make them think we're trying to run away." Do Young Park grinned and pressed some buttons. The Silent Thunder's engines made horrible noises, like they were about to break down. The ship moved forward slowly, pretending to attempt an escape. "They're laughing at us on their channels," Hae-yun reported. "They're calling us stupid humans who don't know when to surrender." She listened more carefully. "Captain, they're talking about selling us as slaves. They don't know humans are classified as Deathworlders." Yoonji nodded slowly. Most aliens didn't understand what it meant to come from Earth. Humans had evolved on a planet with high gravity, deadly weather, and dangerous animals. It had made them stronger, faster, and more durable than most other species. These pirates were about to learn this the hard way. "Captain," Min Seo called out, "they're in perfect position. All 5 ships are within range of our hidden weapons. 4 minutes until their deadline." Ji Woo added, "The Marines are in position. Ta Hyun says they're looking forward to showing these pirates how strong humans really are." Yoonji looked at her crew. Each one knew their part in what would happen next. The pirates thought they were about to capture a helpless merchant ship. Instead, they had just trapped themselves with predators. "Let them think we're going to surrender," she said calmly. "Hae-yun, make our communications sound scared. Do Young, start the shutdown sequence. The fake one, of course. Let's give these pirates exactly what they're expecting." She sat back in her command chair, watching the pirate ships move closer. Soon they would learn why human ships never put their weapons on their manifests. They would learn why the galaxy's smartest pirates stayed far away from human space. 3 minutes, Jagu announced quietly. The trap was almost ready to spring. The bridge of the Silent Thunder was quiet as the crew watched the timer count down. 2 minutes remained before the pirates' deadline. Captain Yoonji Kim used these moments to check every part of her trap one final time. "Engineering report," she called softly to Do Young Park. The chief engineer looked up from his station with a confident smile. "All our real systems are still hidden, Captain. The fake power readings are working perfectly. They still think we're just a broken-down cargo ship." Through the main viewport, they could see the 5 pirate ships moving closer. The pirates were being careful, but not careful enough. They didn't realize they were following a plan that Yoonji and her crew had created. "Hey Yun." The captain turned to her communications officer. "What are our purple friends talking about now?" Yun Choi adjusted her earpiece, listening to the pirate channels. "They're dividing up our cargo already, Captain. The leader gets first pick, then the others get shares based on their rank." She paused, listening more carefully. "Wait, something's interesting. One of them thinks we're being too quiet." Yoonji sat up straighter in her command chair. This was important. "Tell me more," she ordered. "It's one of the smaller ships," Yun explained. "Their captain is saying that most merchant crews beg more or cry when they're about to be captured. We're too calm." Security officer Ji Woo Lee moved closer to the captain's station. "Should we put on more of a show?" he asked quietly. "We could have some crew members pretend to panic." Yoonji thought for a moment, then shook her head. "No, let them be suspicious. It won't help them now." She turned to her tactical officer. "Min Seo, status of their weapons?" Min Seo Kang checked his readings carefully. "All 5 ships have their weapons charged, Captain. Old plasma cannons, just as we thought. Their shields are basic pirate grade. Our hidden weapons will cut through them easily." 1 minute left, Jo Woo announced. Down in the cargo holds, First Lieutenant Ta Hyun Shin and his Marines waited silently in their hidden positions. Each wore light combat armor that looked like normal work clothes from the outside. They had trained for weeks in rooms with extra gravity, making them even stronger than normal humans. Now they waited like hunters in a blind, ready for their prey to come close. 30 seconds, Jigu said. The Crixian leader's face appeared on the main screen again. "Time's running out. Humans," it growled. "Are you going to surrender, or do we have to damage your pretty ship?" Captain Yoonji stood up, playing her role one last time. "Please," she said, making her voice shake. We need more time to power down safely. Our engines are very old." The alien captain laughed. 10 more seconds. Then we start shooting. Maybe that will help you decide faster." As soon as the screen went dark, Yoonji's act disappeared. She stood straight and tall, every inch the military commander she really was. "All stations, prepare for combat. Remember the plan. Let them think they're in control until the very last moment." 5 seconds. Ju Woo counted down. 4, 3, 2, 1. The timer hit 0. On the main screen, they could see the pirate ships moving into their final attack positions. The pirates thought they were about to start shooting at a helpless target. They didn't realize they had just entered killing range of the Silent Thunder's hidden weapons. "They're launching boarding shuttles," Min Seo reported calmly. "Just as we predicted. They don't want to damage their prize too much." Yoonji smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. "Let them get a little closer," she said quietly. "Let's make sure none of them can escape what happens next." She looked around at her crew. "Remember, everyone, today we're not just defending ourselves. We're teaching the galaxy a lesson about judging things by how they look." The trap was set. The web was complete. Now it was time for the spider to feed. The pirate boarding shuttles moved slowly toward the Silent Thunder. Captain Yoonji Kim watched them approach on her screen, counting the seconds. The timing had to be perfect. Too early, and some pirates might escape. Too late, and they might realize something was wrong. "All shuttles are now within our weapon range," Tactical Officer Min Seo Kang reported quietly. His fingers hovered over his real control panel, hidden beneath the fake merchant ship controls. Through the main viewport, they could see the pirate motherships holding position. The pirates thought they had the Silent Thunder completely trapped. The Crixian ships formed a circle around them, their old plasma cannons aimed at what they thought was a helpless merchant vessel. "Captain," Communications Officer Yun Choi said suddenly, "the suspicious captain is sending messages to the others. He's saying something feels wrong." He thinks we should be more scared. Yoonji nodded slowly. Smart pirate, she said. Too bad he figured it out too late. She pressed a button on her command chair. Ta-hyun, are your Marines ready? Ready and eager, Captain. First Lieutenant Ta-hyun Shin's voice came through clearly. We can hear the boarding shuttles attaching to our hull. The pirates had no idea we're waiting for them. The whole bridge crew could feel small vibrations as the pirate shuttles locked onto their ship's docking ports. In the fake cargo holds, Ta-hyun's Marines waited silently. Each one was stronger than 3 Krixians, thanks to growing up in Earth's gravity. Now, Captain, Chief Engineer Do-young Park asked, his hand on the controls that would reveal their true power systems. Not yet, Yoonji said calmly. Wait for it. The main screen lit up again. The Krixian leader's purple-scaled face appeared, looking very pleased with itself. Smart choice, humans, it said. Surrender was your best option. Open your airlocks now. Yoonji stood up straight. Her scared merchant act disappeared completely. When she spoke, her voice was strong and confident. Actually, she said, I have a better idea. The Krixian's many eyes blinked in confusion. Before it could speak, Yoonji gave the order everyone had been waiting for. Spring the trap. Now. The bridge came alive with activity. Do-young's fingers flew across his controls, bringing the Silent Thunder's real power systems online. Hidden panels all over the ship's hull slid open, revealing rows of modern weapon ports. The ship's fake merchant power readings disappeared, replaced by the true readings of a top-line military vessel. Weapons ready, Min-seo announced proudly. All pirate ships targeted. On the screen, the Krixian leader's face changed from confusion to fear as it saw what was happening. What is this? It stammered. This, Yoonji said calmly, is why human ships don't list their weapons on their manifests. She turned to Min-seo. Disable their engines first. No one leaves until they learn their lesson. The Silent Thunder's hidden weapons opened fire. Modern plasma beams, much stronger than the pirates' old cannons, shot out from ports that hadn't existed moments before. Each beam hit its target perfectly, destroying the pirate ship's engines without completely destroying the vessels. All pirate ships disabled. Min-seo reported. Their weapons are still online, but they can't run away now. At the same moment, Security Officer Ji Woo-lee's screen lit up with alerts. The boarding parties have cut through the outer airlocks, he reported. They're entering the cargo holds now. Yoonji smiled. Perfect. Ta-hyun, they're all yours. Through the ship's internal cameras, they could see what happened next. The pirate boarding parties, expecting to find scared merchants, instead found squads of highly trained human Marines. The pirates' faces showed complete shock when the helpless humans stood up, showing their true strength. The suspicious captain is trying to warn the others to run away, Hae-yun reported, listening to the pirate channels. But it's too late for that now. Yes, Yoonji agreed, watching her plan unfold perfectly. It's far too late. She sat back in her command chair, watching as her crew and her ship showed these pirates exactly why humans were classified as Deathworlders. The lesson was just beginning. First Lieutenant Ta-hyun Shin stood silently in the shadows of Cargo Hold 3. Around him, his Marines waited just as quietly. They could hear the pirates cutting through the inner airlock doors. The sound of metal being cut filled the large space, but none of the humans moved. The pirates had no idea they were walking into a trap. They thought they would find scared merchants hiding behind cargo boxes. Instead, 30 highly trained human Marines waited for them. Each Marine had trained in rooms with gravity set to twice Earth's normal strength. Now, back in normal gravity, they felt as light as feathers. The inner airlock door fell inward with a loud crash. Purple-scaled Krixian pirates rushed in, holding plasma rifles. They moved like they were ready for a fight, but their movements looked slow to the human Marines. The pirates' bodies were used to their low-gravity homeworld. Earth-born humans were much stronger and faster. Search everything. The pirate leader shouted. "Find those stupid merchants." Tai-hyun pressed a button on his wrist computer. All around the cargo hold, lights suddenly turned on. The pirates found themselves standing in the middle of an empty room, completely exposed. "Welcome aboard the Silent Thunder," Tai-hyun said calmly. He stepped out of the shadows, and his marines did the same. "We've been waiting for you." The pirates turned quickly, pointing their weapons at the humans. But before they could fire, the marines moved. To the pirates, the humans seemed to fly across the room. In their home gravity, Crixians were dangerous fighters. But here, against humans who had evolved on a high-gravity death world, they had no chance. Ta-hyun reached the first pirate in 2 quick steps. The alien tried to fire its rifle, but Ta-hyun was already too close. He grabbed the weapon and crushed its barrel with one hand. The pirate's many eyes went wide with shock. It tried to punch Ta-hyun, but hitting the human felt like hitting a wall. All around the cargo hold, similar scenes played out. The Marines moved faster than the pirates could track. They took weapons away like parents taking toys from children. Some pirates tried to fight hand-to-hand, but discovered that human muscles, developed under Earth's gravity, were far too strong for them. "Captain," Ta-hyun reported through his communicator, "Cargo hold 3 is secure. 20 pirates captured, no serious injuries." He looked at the shocked faces of the captured pirates. They're learning about human strength the hard way. Through his earpiece, he heard similar reports from the other cargo holds. In less than 5 minutes, all the boarding parties had been captured. Not a single shot had been fired. The pirates hadn't even had time to call for help. Up on the bridge, Captain Yoon-ji Kim received the reports with satisfaction. On her main screen, the Crixian fleet commander watched in horror as video feeds showed its boarding parties being defeated so easily. "What? What are you?" the Crixian commander asked. "We are humans," Yoon-ji answered simply. "We come from a planet you would call a death world. Its gravity is much stronger than your home world. Its weather can kill in minutes. Its animals are fierce predators." She smiled at the alien's frightened face. "Everything about our world made us stronger. Your pirates just learned this the hard way." In the cargo holds, the captured pirates sat quietly, guarded by Marines who looked relaxed but could move faster than any Crixian could follow. Many of the pirates were looking at their guards with new understanding. They were beginning to realize why the galaxy's smarter pirates warned everyone to stay away from human ships. First Lieutenant Ta-hyun walked among the captured pirates, making sure they were secured properly. He heard one pirate whisper to another in trade speech, "No wonder their ships don't list weapons. They don't need to. Their bodies are weapons." The lesson was being learned, one surprised pirate at a time. On the bridge of the Silent Thunder, Captain Yoon-ji Kim watched the pirate ships carefully. Their engines were disabled, but their weapons still worked. She knew cornered enemies could be dangerous. The Crixian commander's face still showed on the main screen, its purple scales now pale with fear. "Your boarding parties have failed," Yoon-ji said calmly. "Would you like to surrender now?" Instead of answering, the Crixian commander screamed orders to its fleet. All 5 pirate ships opened fire at once. Old-style plasma bolts flew toward the Silent Thunder from every direction. "They're trying to overwhelm our shields," Tactical Officer Min Seo Kang reported. He didn't sound worried. "Should I show them why that's a bad idea?" Yoon-ji nodded. Time for the second surprise. "Do Young, bring our real shields online." Chief Engineer Do Young Park's fingers danced across his control panel. More hidden panels opened all over the Silent Thunder's hull. The fake merchant-grade shields disappeared, replaced by military-grade energy screens. The pirates' plasma bolts hit the new shields and vanished without leaving a mark. "Their weapons are having no effect, Captain," Min Seo reported with a small smile. "Our real shields are too strong for their old cannons." On the main screen, the Crixian commander's face showed complete shock. Its ship had just fired its best weapons at what it thought was a merchant vessel, But the silent thunder hadn't even shaken from the impact. "Impossible," the alien commander shouted. "No merchant ship has shields like that." "That's because we're not a merchant ship," Yoonji explained patiently. "We're a military vessel pretending to be a merchant ship, and now it's our turn to shoot." She turned to Min-seo. "Target their weapons. Disable them like we did their engines, but make it impressive." Min-seo grinned and pressed several buttons. The silent thunder's hidden weapon ports opened wider. Instead of normal plasma beams, they fired special cutting beams that could slice through ship armor like it was paper. Each beam hit its target perfectly, cutting the pirates' weapon systems into useless pieces. "All pirate weapons disabled," Min-seo reported. "They're completely helpless now." Down in the cargo holds, First Lieutenant Ta Hyun-shin made sure the captured pirates could see what was happening through the cargo bay windows. He wanted them to understand just how outmatched they had been from the start. "Your ships are now powerless," Yoonji told the Crixian commander. "No engines, no weapons, no chance of escape. Do you understand now why human ships don't list their weapons on their manifests?" The alien commander could only nod. Its many eyes kept moving from one screen to another, watching its mighty pirate fleet floating helpless in space. The ships that had been its pride now looked like broken toys next to the silent thunder's real power. "Captain," Communications Officer Hae-yun Choi called out, "I'm picking up signals from the pirate ships. Their crews are sending surrender messages, all of them." Security Officer Ji-woo Lee checked his screens. "The captured boarding parties are asking to send messages to their friends in other pirate groups. They want to warn them about human ships." "Let them send their warnings," Yoonji said. She looked at the defeated pirate commander on her screen. "That's the whole point of this mission. We want every pirate in the galaxy to know what happens when they attack human ships." The silent thunder's true power systems hummed quietly, no longer pretending to be weak. Around it, the 5 pirate ships floated helplessly, their crews learning a lesson they would never forget. The hunter had caught its prey, and the galaxy would soon hear the story. Captain Yoonji Kim stood in the silent thunder's largest cargo hold, looking at the gathered pirates. The Crixian commander and all its ship captains sat on the floor, surrounded by human marines. Their purple scales had lost their shine, and their many eyes kept moving nervously from one human to another. "Today, you learned something important," Yoonji said clearly, making sure every pirate could hear her. "But I want to make sure you understand exactly what that lesson is. Chief Engineer Do-young, please show them." Do-young Park stepped forward, holding a large screen. He turned it on, showing a picture of Earth. The pirates leaned forward, curious despite their fear. "This is our home world," Do-young explained. "Your people would call it a death world. Its gravity is 3 times stronger than your home planet. Its storms can flatten buildings. Its oceans have waves taller than your ships. Even its smallest animals would be deadly predators on your world." The pirates watched as Do-young showed them pictures of Earth's mountains, deserts, and fierce animals. Their eyes grew wider with each image. One brave pirate raised its hand like a student in class. How do you survive in such a place?" it asked quietly. First Lieutenant Ta Hyun-shin stepped forward. He picked up a heavy metal bar that would normally need 3 Crixians to lift. With one hand, he bent it into a circle. The pirates gasped. "We don't just survive," Ta Hyun said. "We grew strong because of it. Earth's gravity made our bones dense and our muscles powerful. Its dangers made us quick and clever. Every human you see here is like this, because we all grew up on Earth." Security Officer Ji-woo Lee, who had come down from the bridge, added more information. "Our ships are the same way," he said. "We build them strong enough to survive Earth's gravity and storms. What looks like a simple merchant ship to you is actually tougher than most military vessels." Communications Officer Hae-yun Choi had been monitoring the pirates' reactions. She noticed them sharing worried looks. "You're wondering why we hide our strength," she said. Why we pretend to be weak. The Crixian commander spoke up for the first time since its capture. Yes, if you are so strong, why pretend to be helpless merchants? Captain Yunji smiled. Because it's more efficient, she explained. If we showed our real strength, pirates would run away. We would have to chase them across the galaxy. But when we look weak, pirates come to us. They gather in one place, making it easy to catch them all at once. The pirates looked at each other with new understanding. Many of them nodded slowly, finally seeing the clever trap they have fallen into. There's something else you should know, Tactical Officer Min Seo Kang said. He had also come down from the bridge to join the lesson. Every human ship you see is like this. We never list our weapons on our manifests because we don't need to. Our ships are strong, our crews are powerful, and we're always ready for a fight. The Crixian commander looked at its fellow pirates, then back at Captain Yunji. What happens to us now? It asked. Now you go tell your story, Yunji said. Tell every pirate you meet about the humans from Earth. Tell them about our strength, our ships, and our traps. Tell them why smart pirates stay far away from human space. The pirates nodded eagerly. They had learned their lesson well, and now they would become teachers themselves. The story of the Silent Thunder would spread through pirate circles across the galaxy. And somewhere out in space, another human ship was probably pretending to be helpless right now, waiting for the next group of pirates who hadn't heard the warning. 2 weeks after the Silent Thunder's victory, Communications Officer Hei-Yun Choi sat at her station on the bridge, listening to pirate radio channels. She smiled as she heard the same story being told again and again, growing bigger with each telling. Captain, she called to Yunji, you should hear how they're describing us now. The story has reached 3 more pirate sectors. Captain Yunji Kim walked over to Hei-Yun's station. Around them, the bridge crew worked normally, but everyone wanted to hear how their story had grown. The Silent Thunder was back to looking like a simple merchant ship, cruising through space as if nothing had ever happened. In the Nexus sector, they're saying we crushed their ships with our bare hands. Hei-Yun reported, trying not to laugh. In the Spiral Arm, they're telling everyone that we can see through solid metal and smell fear. And in the Dark Zone, they're warning that all human ships are actually military vessels in disguise. Security Officer Ji-Woo Lee looked up from his station. Well, that last part is almost true, he said. Every human ship has to be strong to leave Earth's gravity, and every human crew is stronger than most aliens expect. Chief Engineer Do-Young Park had been working on maintaining their disguise systems. The best part is that they're finally figuring out why we never list weapons on our manifests, he said. It's not because we're hiding anything. It's because our whole ship is a weapon. Through the main viewport, they could see another merchant ship passing by. It was also from Earth, and the crew of the Silent Thunder knew it was probably just as well armed as they were. But to anyone scanning it, it would look perfectly harmless. The pirates are sharing scanning data too, Hei-Yun continued. They're trying to figure out how to tell which human ships are real merchant vessels and which are trap ships like us. She grinned. They don't realize that all our ships are both. Tactical Officer Min Seo Kang had been analyzing the pirate communications too. The really interesting part is how the story changes depending on who tells it, he said. The Crixians we caught are telling it one way. The pirates who only heard about it are telling it another way. But the message is always the same. Stay away from human ships. Captain Yunji walked back to her command chair, feeling satisfied. This was exactly what their mission was supposed to accomplish. The story of the Silent Thunder would make pirates think twice before attacking any human vessel. New transmission, Hei-Yun announced suddenly. A pirate fleet in the next sector just changed their course. They were going to attack a human cargo ship, but after hearing our story, they decided it was too risky. The bridge crew shared happy looks. Their trap had worked even better than they had hoped. Now they were stopping pirate attacks without even being there. First Lieutenant Ta Hyun-shin's voice came through the ship's comm system from the cargo hold. "Captain, our former guests are becoming quite famous. The captured pirates we dropped off at the prison station are now teaching other pirates about human strength. They're using the bent metal bars as proof." Yoon-ji smiled as she thought about all the pirate crews out there, sharing stories about the Silent Thunder. Each telling made the story bigger, and each version made human ships seem more dangerous. Soon, pirates across the galaxy would learn to check if a ship came from Earth before deciding to attack it. The real trap wasn't the Silent Thunder's hidden weapons or the strong marines. The real trap was the story itself, spreading through space like ripples in a pond, teaching pirates everywhere to fear the ships that didn't list their weapons. 1 month after the Silent Thunder's encounter with the Crixian pirates, Captain Yoon-ji Kim stood in front of a large screen in the ship's meeting room. Around her sat her senior crew members, all watching as she showed them data from across the galaxy. "Look at these numbers," she said, pointing to a chart. "Pirate attacks on human ships have dropped by 60% in the sectors where our story is spread. The Silent Thunder's mission was even more successful than we hoped." Communications Officer Hae-yun Choi raised her hand. "Captain, it gets better," she said excitedly. "I've been monitoring the pirate networks. They've made new rules. Rule number 1 is never attack a ship if it came from Earth. Rule number 2 is, if a human ship looks weak, it's probably a trap." Security Officer Ji-woo Lee nodded with satisfaction. "The pirates are finally learning to read between the lines," he said. "When they see a manifest from a human ship with no weapons listed, they don't think easy target anymore. Now they think danger." Chief Engineer Do-young Park had brought his own report. "Other human ships are copying our idea," he said. "They're making their weapons harder to detect and their ships look weaker. The pirates can't tell which ships are military vessels like us and which are real merchant ships anymore." First Lieutenant Ta Hyun-shin, who had led the Marines in their fight against the boarding parties, smiled as he added his own news. "The prison station sent us an update. Our Crixian friends have become teachers. They show new pirate prisoners their scars and tell them never to underestimate humans or their ships." Tactical Officer Min Seo-kang pulled up a star map on his tablet. "Look at this," he said, showing everyone. "Pirate ships are now going miles out of their way to avoid human shipping lanes. They'd rather waste fuel than risk meeting another Silent Thunder." Captain Yoon-ji looked at her crew with pride. Their mission had changed how pirates thought about human ships. But more importantly, it had saved lives. Fewer pirate attacks meant fewer people getting hurt, both human and alien. "We've received new orders," she announced. "We're to continue our patrol, still pretending to be a weak merchant ship. Even though many pirates now know about our trick, there will always be some who haven't heard the story yet. Or some who don't believe it," Hae-yun added. "Yesterday I heard a new pirate crew claiming that all these stories about strong humans must be lies. They're planning to attack the next human ship they see." The crew members shared knowing looks. Somewhere out there, another group of pirates was about to learn the same lesson as the Crixians. "Should we try to intercept them?" Ji-woo asked. "We could add another chapter to our story." Yoon-ji shook her head. "No need," she said. "That sector has 3 other human ships patrolling it. Those pirates will learn their lesson, one way or another. And their story will join ours, spreading the warning even further." As the meeting ended, the crew returned to their posts. The Silent Thunder resumed its patrol route, once again looking like a helpless merchant vessel. Its weapons stayed hidden, its true power masked by clever engineering. To any watchers, it appeared to be nothing more than a simple cargo ship. But now, whenever pirates scanned the Silent Thunder and saw no weapons listed in its manifest, they remembered the stories. They thought about the Crixian fleet that had been defeated so easily. They recalled tales of humans who could bend metal with their bare hands, ships that hid their true strength, and crews who were stronger than they looked. And almost always, those pirates decided to find easier targets elsewhere. The silent thunder had started something that would last for years to come. Its story had become a legend among pirates, a warning passed from ship to ship, crew to crew. And somewhere in human space, another trap ship was probably waiting right now, ready to teach the same lesson to anyone who hadn't learned it yet. After all, there was a reason human ships never listed their weapons in their manifests. Some lessons had to be learned the hard way.